What up, Leaguers? Welcome to the Spectacular Spoiler League. I'm the Pandan Superman, the mayor of Hype City, HazyRome, and as always, I'm joined by the God of Night, the Pandan Superman. He is not. He's the Prime Minister of Post-Production. I almost slipped up there. DeepBoyce, and we just played Telltale's Batman, the Enemy Within, episode 1, and it was a doozy. I mean, for those of you who caught on the live stream, thank you guys for coming through. Those of you who didn't, we're going to review and discuss and just talk about what happened in the episode and talk about some of the big characters introduced. I mean, we had Riddler, we got Joker, who's being referred to as John Doe. We've got a reference to Harley Quinn. We've got Amanda Waller. It was a jam-packed episode, and it was honestly just insane, man. Like, it honestly put me and DeepBoyce through the paces. We had a crazy tough time making decisions, but DeepBoyce, man, what's your deal with this, man? What's your lowdown?
When it comes to first episodes for Telltale games, that was one of the best ones. Out of every Telltale game I've ever played, again, like Wolf Among Us is like one of my favorite ones. It's not my favorite one. That was a very solid episode. The way it started, the middle part, it really wasn't much of a lull, and the ending I thought was great. And I like how they changed up the choice or the consequences system. I don't know. Was it like that for Guardians of the Galaxy? No, wasn't it?
No, it wasn't as thorough for Guardians of the Galaxy. No, not even close.
Yeah. So now they take into account I guess, what your standing is with the important characters.
Sure.
And then I guess within each of those standings, whether someone likes you or doesn't like you, there could be various choices. Like not just one choice, but it'll be like 3 choices if the person likes you, 3 unique choices if the person doesn't like you. This is just me kind of guessing, but they totally overhauled it, and it's pretty cool and comprehensive. But
yeah, I mean, the way I kind of thought of it was that instead of it just being the major decisions you made, the idea, first of all, they introduced the idea that your relationship can shift with somebody. Mm-hmm. So there's kind of like a deeper level of affect between you and the other characters. But I think in addition to the big decisions you make, there are smaller decisions in between that are affected by some of the way you conversed or interacted with the people with whom you're making these decisions with. So, for example, if with Amanda Waller, right? Let's say you decided to interrogate Maury, one of her suspects she had under watch, as opposed to going after Eli, who you would have had to beat down as Batman. Waller takes into account the ways you spoke to her before, in addition to your decision to now go after Maury, to create a more fleshed out opinion of you. So she may be upset with you that you went after her suspect, but she's also maybe respects you for the way that you have done things, which creates kind of like a dynamic where she doesn't just hate you. Mm-hmm. She may dislike you, but she also respects how you do things. So I think Telltale, I mean, they hit it out of the park with this episode. One thing I didn't like about the first episode of Batman, of Telltale Batman Season 1, was that when you compare it to like Walking Dead and you compare it to like all the other, I mean, Wolf Among Us, that's probably my favorite Telltale game. Wolf Among Us, where you think, I'm not gonna spoil it too bad, but you think somebody died and you're just like it scares the hell out of you. Mm-hmm. This made me feel the stakes of the situation. Multiple people were at risk, multiple people could have gotten hurt, and I just felt like from the minute the episode started, you and I just saw the amount of violence and the collateral damage that was happening from the get-go. So, I mean, and due in large part to Riddler, this is hands down one of the most fantastic portrayals of Riddler I've ever seen.
It was. I like the Riddler. Yeah. But they do try, like, more often than not, the Riddler's portrayed as more of a carny, like a carnival type of character.
True.
A little on the silly end of things. I mean, yeah, he's typically deadly because he puts people in crazy traps. Yeah. But in this one, he was like, this would be the Christopher Nolan version of the Riddler if you ever went to do something like that, I'd say.
Okay.
I mean, like, much more grounded, much more violent, sinister.
Sure.
And he's not entirely obsessed with just doing riddles for the sake of doing riddles. I think he was kind of more focused on the criminal end of things. And as you got to the end of the episode, you saw that he was kind of concerned with something going on behind the scenes with the team that he was talking about, or some other group of bad guys that are looming in the cut later on.
Sure.
But I thought this was, I mean, you know, he was capable, hand-to-hand combat.
Yeah, his hand-to-hand combat was all right. He,
you know, he had some sort of history that they alluded to, like he was around before. Batman and Bruce Wayne was aware of any of these criminals, which I thought was cool.
Talk about that. I mean, the fact that he was in Santa Prisca prison, which is the home, that's the place where Bane hangs out, man. I mean, they dropped a little hint to that, man. I think they definitely wanted you to see that, man. Yeah. This one was peppered with like Easter eggs. That's one thing that was really crazy. Like, they alluded to so many other people potentially being involved. I mean, just the introduction of Amanda Waller and her being just as decisive, and I mean, by the end of the episode, you know, this spectacular spoiler, be ready to be spoiled. By the end of the episode, she already knows Bruce Wayne is Batman. She like, party done, you know. You know what I'm saying? And you know, just the way that they just weave throughout the story here, where they had so many interesting dynamics. You know, there's so many people that played a part in the overall story. Like Waller serves as an antagonist. The Riddler is an antagonist. I really kind of hate that he died, because I'm like, damn, he could have made a return. You had John Doe, aka, that was a shame. You had John Doe, aka Joker, hanging out there. They alluded to Harleen Quinzel out there. You know, Bane's out there with that Santa Prisca reference. Somebody shot Riddler in the neck with a dart from very far. Some people in the chat were thinking it might have been Deadshot.
Your boy Floyd Lawton out there.
Floyd Lawton, Deadshot. Amanda Wallace here representing Task Force X. You know what I'm saying? Like, the possibilities are endless. And I didn't feel this hype after the first episode of Batman Telltale. I was like, of the first season, I was like, oh, this is cool. But this season, you could see the stakes are raised. Yeah. Telltale has always had a problem with their episode 4 of whatever season they're doing. It always kind of lulls right before the climax. So we'll see how they start off on a really high note for this one, man.
And one thing I liked, especially with some of the less savory characters in this episode, is really no one was like outright evil or outright a bad guy in this one.
Except for Riddler.
Except the Riddler. I mean, he was out there really trying to kill people, but...
R.I.P. Lucius Fox. Oh my gosh, I'm not ready.
There was a lot. There was even more than meets the eye with the Riddler, which I thought was kind of cool. I mean, again, there's a whole kind of backstory, and we'll see how that kind of plays out in the next couple of episodes. But
say he's a transformer. Just want to think that meets the eye.
Hey, you never know. You never know.
It might be Decepticon.
That's if Michael Bay starts, if he directs the next Batman movie.
Oh please, don't ever keep Michael Bay far away from anything DC, please.
I mean, you got the you got the whatchamacallit, the mother boxes. Really gets his hands on when he turns into a transformer. You never know. But this one, super dope. I came away really happy after playing this episode, especially streaming it and you know, partaking in it with you alongside everybody in the stream.
Oh, DeepBoyce over here touching the feels and whatnot, man. Oh, man. Nah, it was cool, man. I was giving DeepBoyce a lot of shite, you know, about DeepBoyce thinks of things a lot differently than me. Like, DeepBoyce was taking advantage of Batman giving people the silent treatment, which was cracking me up. But you know, I understood your approach where you felt like Batman isn't gonna play into some of the things that people ask him to play into. So, you know, it was a dope move. It was a dope move, man. But I mean, all right. So, where do you think the next episode could take us? I mean, Gordon is out as commissioner at the moment. Waller is taking over
in our playthrough. We don't know exactly if it changes.
True. In our playthrough, he's out as the commissioner. Amanda Waller's running things. She's gonna be working with Batman, but our relationship with her appears to be something that is gonna be grating on the both of us. She may like the way I work, but she's probably not gonna trust Batman very much. She knows Batman is Bruce Wayne. I mean, what happens next, man? Like, we got to find out who the Riddler was working with. That's really what the big thing here. You actually said something while we were streaming. By the way, if you want to find out like how our story played out on the channel, on this channel right here, You can watch the playthrough of episode 1 in full. It's pretty long, but hey, get some popcorn, get some food, get some snacks, sit back, relax, watch your boys' spectacular spoiler league. But anyway, you know, you find out that Riddler has this squad that he's working with, or this team. You said it may be the Court of Owls. I don't know, to be honest with you. All we know is that Joker was somehow involved in that, or John Doe, as he's being referred to. I like how they haven't, called him Joker just yet, because he hasn't gotten balls to the walls Joker. But Harleen Quinzel, we know she was involved as well. So I mean, what's happening, man? What's going on? Who's the enemy? Who's the enemy within?
Who is the enemy within? I think it might be Waller herself. I think.
Why do you say Waller?
Because
I mean, she's an antagonist a lot of times in the comics, so I can't deny that.
I mean, obviously, either they're setting up or they're gonna throw the Suicide Squad in there some way, somehow.
Sure.
And maybe this is, I guess, the origin story of Waller's Suicide Squad.
Yeah. So
I think, maybe Riddler was involved with this proto-Suicide Squad or squad. Either Waller is in charge of the Suicide Squad, and that's the other team that Riddler was referring to, or she will eventually take everyone, like the Joker and Harley Quinn and all these guys, and maybe Deadshot, whoever's left out there, and make the Suicide Squad. That's what I honestly think is the enemy within, the one that they refer to in the title. Either it's an origin, she's becoming that enemy, that villain, that you're kind of forced to work with, because she's a lot more than what she seems. I mean, how exactly did she figure out that Batman and Bruce Wayne are one and the same? I mean, I'm really trying to think back to what happened in the episode to see what could have given it away. Even though I do feel that, there were Batman / Bruce Wayne was, he was a little reckless in this one. He was a little, he did some things. Like, I don't see how Gordon didn't figure it out.
Yeah. I feel like watching our playthrough, you might think, oh, it was the fact that we went as Bruce Wayne to visit Maury, the guy who sold Riddler the missiles, the homing missiles. Mm-hmm. But when you think about it, I'm like, Waller sent her people to Bruce Wayne's office from the jump, and they were out there saying Bruce Wayne was at the center of the the people involved in the first season. Two-Face, Catwoman, not Harley Quinn, Lady Arkham. Sorry, not Catwoman. Two-Face, Lady Arkham, Penguin. Those three. She kind of knew that he was at the center of that. So I think you might be right about Waller being the enemy within, because what it comes down to is Waller's the type where she's like, yo, I don't like the way I'm looking at Gotham. I don't like the way things are working here, because this Batman guy has too much power. Because we read some newspapers kind of giving us a picture of where Gotham was at, and it seemed that there was a general positive opinion of Batman. Batman was helping. Batman was saving the city. But Waller, she doesn't like people. She doesn't like things that are unaccountable. And I could totally see Waller getting in there and causing and wreaking havoc just to weasel her way in there to get more control over her situation. That being said, you mentioning the Court of Owls also might be a good lead into the idea of the enemy within. That, the enemy within being the Court of Owls, because they're deep within Gotham and embedded in many business dealings and many things. Yeah. I don't know, but it's an interesting idea. I mean, initially when you think about the enemy within, you want to think about maybe Bruce Wayne, what he's going through, him being the main character. But Waller being, I feel like you're right. We might see some Task Force X action by the end of this season, man.
Because Waller, she's oftentimes tried to either forcibly recruit Batman, or when she realized, he's a bit too much, to maybe, convince him to join the fold. Because her whole thing is, I don't really care if they're good guys or bad guys. Sure. I feel she feels that she sees the bigger picture, and that she could better utilize all these random variables, all these people with powers and abilities, for some other greater goal. Obviously, that's kind of clandestine. I mean, we're gonna maybe. I mean, now that I think about it, maybe the way the story is gonna go is not so much that Waller is straight up gonna be a bad guy, but maybe she's going to be, like an element that Bruce Wayne Batman can't exactly eliminate and is forced to kind of work within her parameters throughout the entire time. I mean, just from the simple fact that she said, you're working with me now under my jurisdiction. And I know, I'm sure in episode 2, they're going to force you to make decisions of, do I tell Waller or do I don't tell Waller? You know, she's going to find out regardless. Do I consult with her first, or do I wait till she finds out later and apologize? You know what I mean? I don't think it's going to be something where she's going to try to commit some sort of evil, and you're going to have to go up against her and stop her. It's just she's going to have her own motivations as this secret government agency that go beyond Gotham. And then you yourself as Batman, you're like, you're worried about Gotham, and you're also worried about, I guess, rehabilitation. You have your own code, your own honor that you're really kind of pushing forward that Waller does not care about at all. I mean, again, if she puts a bomb in you and you don't do what you got to do, you're a criminal, you got to go anyway. But Batman was never about that.
And you got the notion that I feel like Waller's kind of trying to undermine that code. You know, the way she walks up to him at the end of the episode saying, you know, Riddler's dead. One of my agents is blind. Like, you two caused this. You two being Batman and Gordon. Already trying to, you know, weasel her way into the idea that maybe you're not right for this situation. And thus, you know, saying, oh, I'm the answer. Me, Amanda Waller, is the answer. And Waller is conniving just like that. Like, that's something that's like textbook Amanda Waller. I mean, she came in there from the jump wanting to control the situation. You know what I mean? And I feel like Amanda Waller, like you said, I mean, this is something that Telltale does all the time in their games. They don't like to necessarily make someone the straight up villain. They may have somebody who's the straight up villain, but they do like to have people who are like kind of on that borderline, or, you know, they kind of operate in a gray area, and then they force you to make a choice, and you're like, damn, this is tough. With Amanda Waller, like, you could tell, like, Amanda Waller, she has a code too, and her code is, you know, I am trying to save American lives. You know what I mean? And, you know, her mindset might be, you know, if one dies to save a million, so be it. Where Batman's like, yo, nobody dies. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So Amanda Waller's always willing to take that risk. And, you know, whether you like her or not, she is trying to do something for what she believes to be is the greater good. And that's where those lines are blurred, you know, with a character like her. And Telltale, I mean, the way they make you make decisions, it's perfect for a Telltale game. And I kid you not, season 2, I haven't seen like a Telltale season start off as well as this since like Wolf Among Us and maybe Walking Dead season 1.
Yeah, and credit to Telltale because the first season had some problems, especially some. It needed some whatchamacallit. It needed to be tweaked and improved and optimized. There were a lot of glitches and whatnot, and you know some of the episodes weren't as solid. But they definitely, you know, just basing it off of this first episode, they definitely improved from what they did in the last season of Batman. Definitely,
I think we only encountered one real glitch in this, and that was when you were trying to escape one of Riddler's puzzles. I was laughing for like a good 3 minutes at the fact that we are Batman, we are this like a legendary hero. And we cannot simply turn a knob on a case and open the case. Like something was going on where you couldn't turn the knob. And listen, if anybody, I mean, you have watched me stream Telltale games before, you know how many problems. You'll hear me screaming like, "Oh my God, it's Telltale! The game is broken!" You know, I'll be upset that something isn't working. So we only counted that one glitch. But other than that, I mean, graphically it looked better. The combat looked way more fluid. I mean, the combat in the first episode alone like rivaled the combat in the last episode of the first season. Like I remember playing the combat in the last episode of the first season. I was like, wow, this is really dope. Like I didn't know if Telltale could make me feel like Batman in a narrative-based choice-making game. You know what I'm saying? Like we're not playing the Arkham franchise here. We're literally playing a point-and-click game. You know what I'm saying? And they made it feel really fluid from the jump. This episode was phenomenal. But DeepBoyce, man, any last words?
Check this out if you haven't played it already. I mean, maybe Hazy himself might do a run through.
Definitely.
You know, like on Twitch or something like that, and see because you know we were both kind of doing it together, but I was at the helm. I was the one kind of you know making the decisions. So I definitely like to check out Hazy's stream and see kind of what decisions he makes because when he played the first season of Batman, Telltale's Batman, completely different from my, you know, post-apocalyptic scenario, like all of the terrible decisions I made in that first one, where everyone, I mean, Alfred ended up with one eye. Harvey it was just terrible. It was the worst thing ever.
Two-Face was actually Two-Face. Like his face got messed up.
Yeah.
Your playthrough, everything went to shite, bro. It was crazy. It was crazy, man. But yeah, I mean, like I said, we're gonna be putting up the gameplay of this episode, us playing episode on this YouTube channel, and hopefully we'll be streaming the other 4 episodes of season 2 on the channel. So if you didn't hear us, spontaneously announce that we were gonna do this, there's always a chance to come check it out, man. And by all means, if you like us playing games, we are huge gamers. As much as we love comic books and comic book multimedia, we love video games. So if you do want to see us do that more often, drop something in the comments so that we can hear this. By all means, turn on notifications so you know if we ever do a live stream for something. Mind you, we may not just do live streams for video games. We may do live streams for other things. You know what I mean? Me and DeepBoyce have been talking about future plans for the Spectacular Spoiler League. So turn them notifications. What's the worst that can happen? You find out that we're doing something. Whether you want to watch it or not is up to you. But we want you guys to be present. We had a great turnout for the stream, man. And we're definitely going to be hyped for episode 2. But with that being said, guys, we out of the Hall of Spoilers, guys. Hit us with a like and subscribe. If you liked anything you heard today, let us know if you're going to be playing Telltale's Batman, The Enemy Within. Let us know if you're a fan of Telltale games in general. Let us know your favorite Telltale franchise, the Telltale game. We love Telltale here at the Spectacular Spoiler League. But me and DeepBoyce, we're getting out of the Hall of Spoilers, man. We're gonna go find Amanda Waller and put a whoopee cushion on her office chair or something like that. But we'll see you guys on the next one.
Peace.